Sarcophagus from Luxor 918. The inscription of the demotic inscription reads: Long live your soul, stay 18 for all eternity, you Osiris, father of God, prophet of the goddess Waitpto, prophet of the great Horus and the goddess name here, son of Harcesis, one child of the Taiho. The demotic text to 935-940, a royal sacrifice for Osiris, lord of the necropolis, the western, the great god in Rakad, the Apis Osiris Serapis in Wester, the king of the gods, the lord of the infinite time, the prince of eternity, and for Isis the great, the mother of God, the eye of the sun, the mistress of the mills, the queen of all gods, for Nephthys, the sister of God, for Horus, the avenger of his father in Diaresis, O-I, for Anubis on top of his mountain, which is in Ife. The man in the hall of the god, the lord of the necropolis, 2. Phuimuths, the son of Ta and Phuithimant the west and Totriju, the mother of all gods, so that she may offer the death offerings of bread, wine, bulls and geese, why he also, balm, Zagstophan, drinks and thousands of all good, pure and pleasant things, which the heaven gives, and the earth looks, in favor of the image of Osiris the heir to the prince, supreme master, single friend, father of God, prophet of Iter, priest of white wall gods of Memphis, prophets of Osiris, the great god and lord the necropolis, the writer of sacred literature, the treasurer of the god of temperament Pels of the Phtar, 3. The prophet of the library in the consecration room, the prophet and writer of Ptah, the scribe of the lady of Nht temple quarter of the Memphis Hatha, writer of Ptah of Tannan, writer of the Bast, the lady of Memphis Ontim, scribe of Serapis, Osiris in Eakad and Anubis on top of his mountains, scribe of Imuths, son of Ptnh, prophet of the god Menkes in the lake Pharaoh's Lhg, the greatest of Akhdotfton. The 2 eyes of the king of the south and the 2 ears of the king of the north, which is the heart of the office, the king in his house, the friend of the king and beloved of him, for to whom the love was great in the hearts of all men, the first prophet of the country, who support of the king in the temples, the second after the king in the erection of the Ajurfi column. See below, p. 1144, the initiate of the necropolis, the initiate of Rakad, the initiate of TDSR, the initiate of Kmi and the initiate of HPNBS, all names for special divisions of the great necropolis of Memphis, of the initiates of the temple of Poi, the initiate of heaven, the earth utid of the underworld. Overseer of the prophets of all gods, which, in the temples of the south and of the north knew, 5. Who approached the holy eye in the time of great work and saw the birth of the great god as his the eye work, the son of great Nun and the great goddess Shit reconciled by sacrifices, the high priest of Memphis Phisrant son of the same high priest of Memphis Tbst, the triumphant, the child of the good musician of his southern wall, the lord of Voyage Tenilo Omji, the triumphant the deceased, built his speech with a call to those who come to this tomb commemorated of my name to the Lord of the gods at all the feasts of the West. The day the death celebrations, gives me cool water and burning incense, speaks to rejuvenate your body, long live your soul. Step the north wind, the one from the god Atum steps out, into your nose, always. Because I was a nobleman full of wisdom in doing what he did, without doing evil, because I was of astonishing excellence, who acquired the love of all people. In the year 25, On the 21st Phafi under the reign of the king and sovereign Ptolemy, of the god Soter, the triumphant, was the day on which I was born. Lived for 13 years in the presence of my father. An order of the king and countryman lord of the god Philopator Philadelphos Neos Dionysos, the son of the sun and lord of the tiaras, Ptolemy, 8 conferring upon me the high office of a high priest of Memphis. I should have been 14 years old. I put the jewelry of the crown on the head of the future king on the day of his coronation and performed all things in the chambers, which are intended for the 30-year Regia Rugsfist. See below p. 1119. I was the leader of all hidden. Imta. Lo gave the order for the consecration of Meres, as the birth of the god the sun took place in the gold house. I went to the residence 9 of the Greek kings, situated on the shore of the sea in western direction, located from it, and whose name is Bachotis. The king Luid sovereign, the god Philopator Philadelphos and whose Dionysus was enthroned in his royal palace and struck the way to the temple of Isis, the mistress of Ltbh. He brought her numerous big ones, sacrificing donations. To drive cars out of the temple of Isis, the king left himself keep his car still. He wreathed my head with a beautiful wreath of gold and all sorts of outlawed gemstones, in the middle of which was the bust of the king. He was appointed a prophet, and he issued a royal command to all the gnome cities. In use I have the high priest of Memphis Pyent as my prophet made. And they came to me from the temples of the southern and northern lands Naranth. Delivered annually. 11 The king moved to Memphis on one holidays, so he drove up and down to Sil to visit both sides of the city. As soon as he landed in the city district on Shui, he went to the temple of Ptah, accompanied of his rumblings, of his wives, and of the princes, all his own destined for the feast things in which she is sitting and visiting the sea area, to tell all the people in the city. To celebrate Chatiero the feast, according to the ILSA of love 12 in the hearts of the country, his crown on his forehead. I was a Drollia, rich in all things, and I had a beautiful harem. I had lived for 4 years without a male child having been born to me. Mercifully way I. The majesty of this glorious god Ides, the son of Plah, this half. I was presented with a male child, whose name is Imuthis, renamed Bilihst, Ptahoses was called. Timehulp, the daughter of the father of God 13 and of the prophets of Huros, lord of Letopolis, Phtipi had borne him. Under the majesty of the princess and lordress Cleopatra and her son Caesar, on the 11th of the 15th Phamonoth, was the day on which I entered the harbour. I was brought to the necropolis, and everything was done to me for a well-prepared mummy. The funeral was held on the 30th of Thoth in the year V2. Sum of the life was 4 years ''. Demotic A.